So, if you've been driving anywhere around Gauteng lately, you can't miss it, right? Cranes everywhere, huge new buildings popping up along the highways. It looks like a massive construction boom, but it might not be what you think it is. Yeah, when you actually get a closer look, you start to see that a whole lot of this development, it's for these enormous, super high-tech warehouses and distribution centers. And that really begs the question, right? With so many other things that need attention, why are billions, literally billions, being poured into, well, warehouses?
All right, so let's get into it. The answer here is actually pretty fascinating. It points to this huge fundamental shift in how our economy is working. We're talking about the impact of everything from the e-commerce explosion to all the pressures we're seeing on global supply chains. Believe me, these are not just your average big sheds for storing boxes anymore, not by a long shot.
You know, we all have a picture in our heads of what infrastructure is. We think of roads, power plants, railways. You know, the essential stuff an economy just can't function without. Well, it's time to add something new to that list: advanced logistics hubs. And this quote right here, it just nails it. It perfectly captures this massive change in thinking. What it means is that moving stuff around efficiently is now seen as being just as critical as, say, keeping the lights on. It's not just about real estate anymore. This is about building the actual arteries of modern commerce.
Okay, so what does this whole logistics as infrastructure thing look like when we talk about actual money? Well, the numbers, honestly, they're staggering.
Let's kick things off with what's already in the pipeline. Get this. Just 17. That's 17. Key projects right here in Gauteng are responsible for 73 billion rand. That is a huge amount of money already committed and flowing in. And honestly, we're just getting started.
But hold on, because that's just the start. Looking forward, the provincial government is aiming for something even bigger. The target for new investment, 200 billion rand. To put that into perspective for you, that's a number that's right up there with major national infrastructure budgets. And it's all being aimed at this one sector to drive our future growth.
So with all that money flying around, what does it actually look like, on the ground? Let's take a look at how this new economic backbone is really taking shape.
It really boils down to three big trends that you can see happening right now. First up, you've got this intense focus on the R21 corridor, the area around OR Tambo. It's just accelerating like crazy. Second, these huge, specialized logistics parks are popping up and expanding everywhere. We're talking places built for the speed and automation that modern e-commerce demands. And third, we're seeing these brand new, potentially game-changing infrastructure projects finally move off the blueprints and into the real world.
And if you want a perfect example of just how ambitious this all is, we only need to look at one of these major projects, the planned inland port of Gauteng.
Just this one project has a projected price tag of 50 billion rand. Think about that. The idea is to create this one massive central hub for freight, a single, super efficient point where road and rail can connect to streamline the flow of goods right through the country's economic heartland. And this really gets to the heart of why this is all happening. It's not just about moving boxes from A to B a little bit faster. The real goal here is to make the entire supply chain more efficient, to get thousands of trucks off our already packed roads, and, this is the big one, to create a ton of new jobs in the process.
Now, even though Gauteng is clearly the epicenter of all this isn't just a story about one province. What we're witnessing here is shaping the economic future of the entire country. Logistics property is evolving from this little niche sector into the absolute backbone of our national development.
And if you want the national perspective, check out this number. It's one that definitely gets international attention. By 2030, South Africa's logistics market is projected to be worth almost 20 billion US dollars. That kind of scale really highlights just how critical this sector is for our country's growth and our ability to bounce back from challenges.
Okay, so with all this momentum, all this cash pouring in, it naturally leads to a really interesting question about what Gauteng is gonna look like in the future.
As this logistics gold rush keeps going, where's the next big hub going to be? Which area is going to become the most strategic, the most built up, the most important logistics hotspot in the entire province?
Well, the analysis points to a few main contenders for that title. You've got your established areas, right? The R21 corridor and the East Rand logistics belt. But then you also have these up-and-coming hotspots like Linbro and the Lanseria area, not to mention the classic freight hubs down in Johannesburg South. Honestly, each one of them has a pretty strong case for becoming the real heart of Gauteng's new economic engine. It's a multi-billion rand question for sure, and the answer is going to define this province for many, many years to come.